Today's part of our Business Spotlight program. I'm with Peter Merrigan. Now, he's the owner of Triace Limited, and they're based in Fermoy in County Cork. So, over to you, Peter. What is it you do, and for how long have you been doing it?
I suppose the correct term is we manufacture pressure cleaning equipment.
Okay.
We started in 1981, so next year will be 44 years in business
Well,
doing that. Um, and we've grown from a one-man band, well, I had two partners when we started in 81, but the two partners left in 86. So
right.
from 86 onwards, basically, I've been the top dog.
Okay. And so you're manufacturing cleaning equipment, and so you've been going, well, coming up to 40 years on your own sort of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And during that time, obviously, you grew. You're up. You were mentioning you've 10 employees there now, including yourself. What do you attribute your growth to?
Well, I suppose we've been very lucky in that we started out when the pressure cleaning business in Ireland was very new and novel.
Yeah.
And we started out manufacturing, and over the years, we've been able to adapt to the changes that were needed in the industry. So that back in 86, for example, there was very few pressure washers available on the market in Ireland.
Hmm.
And any that were continental realistically and really weren't designed for the market in Ireland.
Hmm.
They were light duty, and there's a lot of them still out there. Like basically, we don't do a whole lot in the domestic market. We're into agriculture, basically food plants, milk plants, bigger stuff mostly. And the beauty of our business or our company is we go in and we find out what the customer needs, and then we can design it from the ground up, rather than try and adapt an off-the-shelf product to uh, not do the 100% that's needed.
Right.
So, like basically, our machines are designed for the particular application, and then like basically we service them afterwards. So we look after the whole lifespan of the machine.
And what's that? And you're supplying them, is it all over Ireland
All
or
over Ireland, yeah.
yeah, okay. Okay, very good. Do you go into the north at all, or is it just the Republic?
It's really just the Republic. We have dabbled in the north on occasion, but found it was uh, too difficult to manage.
Right. Okay. Okay, very good. Um, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently?
Um, that's very hard to say. I suppose having two partners in the early days um, helped from a confidence point of view. In other words, there was somebody to back me up.
Right.
In hindsight, it wasn't a good move because basically, I suppose I was left in the lurch to an extent.
Hmm.
Um, I've been very lucky since then, um, from the point of view of the staff that we have. And basically, most of the staff that are with me or with the company have been there for many years.
Hmm.
And we trust them implicitly.
Very good. And that kind of leads us on to the big what are your biggest learnings? What have they been as an employer since you began in business?
Well, I suppose it took me a long time to realize that I couldn't do everything um, on my own,
Right.
or I couldn't do it as well as some of my staff members could.
Interesting.
So, if I was saying to somebody, if you're thinking of going into business,
Mm.
particularly a small business, you have to rely on staff who basically, in at least some areas, are better capable than you are of
Hmm.
doing particular aspects of the job. Um, for the first few years in existence, from 86 onwards, I was doing everything from the VAT returns, um, to writing the checks, to
Right.
doing liaising with the bank, liaising with the revenue commissioners. and realistically trying to build machines during the day at the same time.
Right.
So that's fine when you're small, but
Mm.
basically, if you're looking for a turnover of over 1 million, or we're approaching 2 million now,
Hmm.
uh, you have to have staff who you trust to be able to do the job better than you can in some aspects.
Fantastic. And I suppose the other one then, I suppose that, as you're growing and everything else over the years, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Um, Very, very difficult.
Right.
Um, the one problem I would say um, in your personal life is when you go home at 5 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock or sometimes 8 o'clock, it's very difficult to switch off. Like if you have a tax bill coming up, um, let's be honest about it, an employee won't put as much thought into that as you have, and you can be in bed at night and that's still rattling around as a problem.
Right.
So detaching from your own business is very difficult. But again, I'd harp back onto the quality of your own staff.
Mm.
If basically they can take responsibility for their different areas of expertise, it lightens your load an awful lot.
Mm.
Um, and some of that takes a lot of training, a lot of growth, but basically, I would suggest employing the best you can.
Right. Fantastic. And I suppose you kind of touched a bit on it there, but what are the qualities do you look for in employees, and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment, which you obviously have? They've stayed with you for so long.
Well, loyalty is a great thing. And the fact you have to be very open yourself so that an employee feels confident that they can come to you and talk to you, explain their problem, or
Hmm.
maybe not a problem, explain their idea,
Hmm.
and basically to make sure that they get a fair hearing and that the employee goes away satisfied with your response. The same story, like there's a little bit of give and take. It's not all about the money. Like basically, you have to be happy in what you're doing. Um,
Yeah.
it's give and take realistically.
Very good. Very good. And I suppose just to round off, what are some common misconceptions about running a business and how do you address them?
Well, at this moment in time, or I suppose after the crash in 2008, 2007, 2009, whatever, um, finance is very difficult.
Hmm.
Um, it's not as difficult now as it was some years back, but because basically there's a lot of different companies after coming into the market, like Close Brothers and uh, Linked Finance and so on and so forth, basically, who will support you if you have the, how would you say, the turnover and the profit margins to support you.
Mm.
But I have found in the last 5 years, definitely, uh, talking to the banks is a waste of time.
Yeah,
Uh,
I get a bit of that, yeah.
yeah, no, like, I mean, in fairness, the banks will do anything for you if you can prove you don't need them to do it.
Yeah.
And like, that's no good to somebody basically who, maybe has 80,000 worth of goods in China. They're
Mm.
wanting to bring them in, but can't find it in their cash flow.
Yeah.
Talking to the banks, you might as well not bother. But
Right.
it's fantastic that, well, even the credit unions now are doing an awful lot of work with small businesses.
Yeah.
The local enterprise offices are very helpful as well. And down through the years, like, I found them very helpful. But I suppose more than anything else, if you can get an accountant or an accountancy firm who will do a little bit more than just your books
Yeah.
and give you advice on investments, give you advice on where you can find funding, give you even moral support, if nothing else, or tell you if it's not a good idea. It's very important to have that backup.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, listen, Peter, it's been great chatting with you today. I really appreciate you taking the time out to be on our series.
No problem.
And some good interesting pearls there for our viewers and on how to run a business. So
Yeah,
thanks again.
thank you too.